Well, it looks like the watermelons are finally starting to do something. Here's the butternut and acorn squash. They're starting to climb up the trellis. The Kajari melons, it was kind of a flop out here. I think the rains washed away the seeds, but I do have some planted in a grow bag. And then these are my pie pumpkins. And the tomatoes are going absolutely crazy. The peppers are behind those. I've planted beans in front. A lot of basil in the beds too. Here's some more pepper plants. Behind there is some eggplants. These are Chinese noodle beans, and just need to kind of keep an eye and help them out so they'll climb the trellis. On this side is the same. There's tomatoes, and I have some basil here, and these are golden beets. I planted those for Mary. That's a surprise, don't tell her. And here's some more tomato plants. They've just really gotten big since the last time we walked through. See, look at all these peppers over here. The peppers are doing really good. Tomatoes. I do have a tomato. I think I just went right past it, but I do have a tomato on the vine. And it is, oh, I've got two of them. And they are right there. And that is from the Jetstar tomato. And I have a couple on the one next to it. What is this one? This one is the Early Girl. I think the Jetstar beat the Early Girl. Mortgage Lifter has a couple small ones on there. And then this is a Beef Star tomato. And pretty flowers. Okay, so zinnias in a pot here. More tomatoes, nasturtiums. These are those golden beets I was talking about. It's a Better Boy, and look how thick that stem is on that Better Boy. Big Boy has a big stem too, hence the name, I guess. And then we have Candy Jane cherry tomatoes. And we have Cherokee Purple tomato. It's got some on there. Some tomatoes on there for the plants. There's the mint. Dave just picked a lot of the strawberries. The strawberries are really coming on. I think that's stevia. It's a sweetener. These are kohlrabi, so I need to thin those out with a pretty plant. My tower here is doing really good. Collards are fixing to come in. On the bottom I have watermelon and pumpkins. I'm just going to let them sprawl out around the ground there. Here are the herb beds. This rain sure does a lot for them. We did get some more squash today. And I probably have these planted too close, but I plan on tying them up. But a lot of squash. This is an 8x4 bed. There's probably 11 squash plants in there. Yeah, I might have went overboard on that one. I had one sweet potato left after planting it in the beds out front, so I put it in this grow pot. We'll see what it does. Melons are coming up. Melons, and some more melons. We did do this arch. I haven't planted anything on it yet. I think I better get busy at it because planting things is gonna be too late before long. More tomatoes. These are radishes, and let's see. No, they're not ready yet. I have various types of radishes here. Some kale. The Swiss chard is doing grand. The other day I came out here and I picked a basket full of Swiss chard and just a bunch of other greens and herbs that I picked to kind of thin things out a little bit, and herbs that I thought were going to try to bolt. Basil and stuff, I got those picked and I gave them to the chickens. Boy, they were so happy. So here's some more beans. These are Mame, the soybean, and I got a ladder here. I'm gonna try not to fall off there. There's some flowers on here, so I think we're gonna get some beans soon. These are dragon tongue beans, and I haven't seen them flower yet. So I'm gonna have to look to see the days on germination for that, because they're getting really sprawly, but I see no flowering. Okra. I have Clemson Sweet and spineless, oh no, Alabama Red and spineless Clemson Sweet. Maybe, does that sound right? More of the soybeans, turnips. And I cut some of these tops off and gave them to the chickens the other day because they were trying to sort of overshadow the beans. More tomatoes. And something ate the whole top of that bean plant for the TP for the little man, which is kind of upsetting. But the other beans are growing really well. More basil. Need to clip this off. Trying to put a seed on me. Cucumbers. Well, a lot of flowers on the cucumbers. Now that's new. That wasn't there the other day. Just amazing how things can change so fast. But there's a bunch of flowers in the cucumbers. And they're growing up this arch really well. More cucumbers. Pepper plants. Basil. More pepper plants. And these over here are brown cherries. And none of them have fallen to the ground yet. I can't wait to try these. But there's none fallen to the ground, so to keep an eye out for that. And some of them, they're so big, they're just like hanging over. So they may actually fall into the wood chips here. And then in that case, Remy will have a delight. More tomato plants. And the potato plants are flowering a little bit. More pretty flowers, more mint. And then this is a patio tomato plant, and look, it's got pretty little blooms on it. And a couple tomatoes. Anxious to see which tomato is going to produce first for me. We thinned out some of the leaves from the zucchini. Didn't look so great, so we thinned those out. This teeny zucchini, I've tried twice to plant that stuff. I think the seeds are dead. This is the loofah, and man, it's just, I'm gonna have to get it out of that netting and get it onto the rail, and that happened in a day. So they are pretty fast growers. I hope they grow fast enough to where I get my loofahs this year. And it's growing into the walkway. Just have to try to convince it to go up this arch. Also, the grapes are growing pretty well, and I'm gonna have to just take the cover off of the grapes. I put this cover on the grapes because I was afraid of the cicadas getting a hold of the grapes, but we haven't seen any cicadas, and I don't think the end of the month is when it's supposed to, you know, be done with. But thinking about it, I don't want it to damage these grape plants, so I'm gonna take this off because the poor thing, I'll just leave the net on it. There we go. It's keeping it like it's stunting its growth or something. There we go. And this one is already falling off anyways, so I just as well take this mesh off too. Come on now, let go. And I've been training those loofahs to go up there, but those grapes are going to want to grow up there before long. So I'll have to figure that out. I may move those back to that arch back there. Pretty flowers, pretty flowers. So we have the beds up here, and I'll show you where we've planted. My Shasta daisies are getting ready to pop. I'll show you where we planted the sweet potatoes. I'm hopeful those will do well. So those have been planted in this bed. And they seem to be doing a lot better since I planted them, of course. They've been in that water forever. I weeded out a lot of the kohlrabi because they were really close together. In my last video, I said, oh my, I think these is cabbage, but nope, they're kohlrabi, and see, look, they look so good. And I've already cooked some of these because when I weeded out, I took the bigger ones, and boy, they're good. And I still have my sweet peas, which I'm letting these grow on the pot. I want to get the seeds because these were really good. Everybody enjoyed them. And then we're going to fill these beds back up, and I'm going to plant some more seeds. I'm not sure what I'm going to plant yet. I'm trying to think through that. There's some oregano. And then just to get a full look of the garden, that's the full look of the garden. And I don't really talk much about the greenhouse. We are building beds to put in the greenhouse, but we have time to do that yet. You can't plant in here in the summer, of course, because it is just it's too hot to even go in there right now. We've got the window on the end open and the screen open on the door. But right now it's kind of storing all my goods. And but we are going to build some beds in here so I can hopefully grow through the winter. And that's just made from counter panels. And we are going to work on the lights too. I got some lights out here, but we're gonna reroute them. Got another idea of how to hang those. And here's some. So here are some peppers. Here's some Advarsky peppers, and those are these little babies. And then these are sweet tangerine peppers. These are like the box lunch peppers, and boy, there's a lot in there. And then here we have the, it says sweet tangerine, but I think there was a mistake in one of these. Yeah, this one. This is not a sweet tangerine because look how big that thing is. And then here's a Karabachi pepper right there. And I got a Shishudo pepper, and they say that it's not hot, but it's the counterpart of another really hot pepper. This is it, the Shishudo, and it says but 1 in 10 are hot. So we'll see how that goes. Another pepper. It's another pepper. They're blooming, and there are some peppers hiding in there on several of them. I don't know what happened to this one. It's kind of leaning over. Hopefully it'll be okay. Storms were really bad last night, so I'd rather blame it on that than the dog. King of North pepper, and this is King of North bell pepper as well. And then this is an orange bell pepper. I have a lot of peppers just put in different areas. Here are my eggplants, and they're flowering, and I think I'll get eggplant before long on here. And then got a lot of stuff growing in that tower. Pretty sunflowers. So here's another pepper plant or two. This is a lilac pepper. I did purchase this. I did not plant this by seed. This one, banana pepper, I did purchase it. Did not plant that by seed either. And everything else I did though. Here's a purple bell sweet pepper and a Natapino pepper, which is the same as a jalapeno, just not the heat. And coming around here, because I want to show this a little close. This is the Shishudo pepper, which is 1 in 10 are hot, but most are not. But these are ground cherries, and they come like in a husk, just like a tomatillo. I'm trying to get that on camera. There we go. And when they fall off to the ground, then they're ready to eat, and they're really sweet. That's not happened yet. But you can see here's some more. And there's something else. Oh, the cucumbers are going absolutely crazy. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so this is a tomatillo. And there's a lot of flowers on it, but I'm not seeing any fruit yet. So I don't know, that must take a lot longer to develop. The turnip greens have to be trimmed back again. They are going crazy. A lot of people like to eat turnip greens. I might try it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll tell you, my chickens love them, so I might just give them to the chickens. I don't know if I ever mentioned either that these tomatoes over here, they are surprise tomatoes, meaning that I have no clue what kind of tomatoes they are. These 4 I did not have marked, and I did grow these from seed. So we'll learn together, I suppose. But they do have some flowering. This one has a little tomato on it too. Well, a few of them actually. There's some more over there. But we'll see what they are. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. And you know, the main purpose for this garden is, well, the food insecurity, but the other thing is my daughter doesn't work far from here. My son doesn't live far from here. And my hope is that they'll stop by the garden on their way home from work and go home, and Sis will cook for her family, and DJ will cook for himself, and that's my hope, to share it. So I'll see you next time.